2022 Hawaiian Airlines Diamond Head Classic on ESPN. Back here in Honolulu, Hawaii for this holiday tradition since 2009. And two teams off to a great start here on the opening day. Seattle U at 8-2, taking on Utah State at 9-1. This is the second of 4 quarterfinals coming your way. We had a dandy in the tournament opener, SMU rallying from 12 down to defeat Iona 85-81 to advance to the semifinals. Aloha from inside Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center next to Malcolm Huckabee. I'm Kanoa Leahy. And Malcolm, it was a fun first game. If that is any indication of what's to come, we are in for some good stuff for sure going forward. And if you like three-point shooting, this might be the matchup for you.
Both these teams, you better pick them up before they walk into the arena because they shoot a lot of threes. They shoot them at a high percentage. Both teams average over 10 threes made per game. This is going to be a fun offensive matchup.
And one of those guys for Seattle U who likes to let them fly, Cameron Tyson, he is averaging over 4 made threes per game and just under 20 points per contest.
He is a flat-out baller. He's a guy, again, in transition or in their half-court sets. You better find him on the three-point line. He's really good at finding open spaces and getting looks.
And when's the last time you've seen a matchup where you have a guy on the other side as well averaging 4 made threes per game? Stephen Ashworth is doing just that for the Aggies. Utah State controlling here to start this second quarterfinal of the day. Start time a little after 12:30 locally here in the islands. And a good drive along the baseline. And the reverse layup is good for Max Shulga, 6'4" junior from Kyiv, Ukraine. And he gets the ice broken. Grigsby able to rattle it home, and Seattle U quickly on the board. Grigsby, 6'6" senior from San Jose, California, in his 5th year with the program, second on the team in scoring at almost 12 a game.
And so much for three-pointers early on. Both teams getting in the paint and getting some high percentage shots.
See the ball movement, and it is Taylor Funk for 3, and that one went in and out. Taylor Funk and Stephen Ashworth, a couple of guys for the Aggies. I mean, you talk about a green light. Theirs is nuclear bright. And a good find behind the defense. Branton Chatfield off the assist from Grigsby.
And both teams do a nice job spacing you out, and you have to respect the 3. That's a great lob pass that time in the half-court set by Seattle.
Right corner 3 ball. That one doesn't go, but there's Sean Bairstow with the offensive board. Trevin Dorius couldn't hit the chippy, and now Seattle U the other way. Red Hawks coming out of the Western Athletic Conference. Utah State now 9-1, member of the Mountain West. Here's Alex Schumacher off the pump fake. And Cameron Tyson couldn't secure the pass. It's a leak out here. Throwing it down with one hand is Taylor Funk.
That's a nice play by Ashworth that time, getting his hand on the ball. A little no-look pass over the head, which led to a wide-open dunk, but that's all set up by excellent defense.
Utah State almost entered this tournament as one of the few undefeated teams left in college basketball, but they lost their game that preceded the trip out to Hawaii against Weber State as Cameron Tyson, a good cut on the baseline. And how about Riley Grigsby, been a facilitator here offensively in the early stages for the Red Hawks. And a foul there committed by Chatfield. Aggies 9-1 overall, head coached by Ryan Odom in his 2nd season. Previously was the head coach at UMBC, of course, helped to author one of the great upsets in the history of college basketball, the 16-1 when they took down #1 seed Virginia in the 2018 NCAA tournament. Left wing 3, Sean Bairstow goes along with it, and a good rebound there, Grigsby.
That's a break, though, for Seattle. That's a wide-open look for Utah State.
Here's Emeka Udeni, 6'6" senior. Schumacher, 4 seconds to shoot, has to force it up, he gets blocked. Good defensive play by Shulga. And the strong drive by Bairstow. And he draws the whistle. On the other side for Seattle U head coach Chris Victor in his second season, the reigning WAC Coach of the Year, served actually as the interim head coach last season after the former head coach Jim Hayford was placed on administrative leave and ultimately resigned from the program. But what a job Chris Victor did in year one. How about 23-9 overall on the season? Most wins since 1958.
And that's what's so impressive about this field. Obviously, we got a Hall of Famer in Rick Pitino here, Rob Lanier, that SMU club. I'm going to tell you, they're going to raise some eyebrows. He talked about that team gelling together, and then we got another good matchup here of coaches. Seattle U versus Utah State. Again, just a solid field in this Diamond Head Classic.
Tyson gets the step, but he lost it on the way up, deflected out of bounds by Dorius. So with Seattle U, they averaged 10.4 made threes per game. Utah State 11.5 made threes per game. And each averaging well over 25 three-point attempts per outing. There's Emeka Udeni. Quick trigger by Tyson. That one glances off the rim and bounces out of bounds.
That's a pretty good contest by Ainsworth at that time. Again, you have to be so aware, both these teams with the three-point shot. I think the key thing in this one, ball screen coverage, again, off of pick and rolls or off of pin downs, you have to communicate, and the bigs are going to have to do a good job showing and hedging on all these actions offensively.
A couple of subs in for the Red Hawks. Victor Rajkovic wearing number 21, and Shea Riley in the number 23 jersey in black. Bairstow, the teardrop, got it to go. Good length at 6'8", the senior from Brisbane, Australia. You may recognize the last name too. His older brother Cam was an all-conference member of University of New Mexico several years back. He was drafted by the Chicago Bulls. And that takes us to our first media timeout. 15:51 left to play here in this second quarterfinal of the day, the Hawaiian Airlines Diamond Head Classic. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Hawaiian Airlines. Hawaii flies with us. And Dollar General, save time and money every day. Not a bad place to be at this time of year, wouldn't you say, Malcolm Huckabee?
Well, unless you're trying to get me out on one of the surfboards, which you were trying to suggest later, and I'm just going to shut it down real quick for you. But other than that, yeah, it's all good.
What do you got against the surfers, man?
Listen, Jaws ruined it for me, man. I'm not getting out in the open water. I'll leave that for guys like you. But early on in this game, it's been about the mid-range game. Again, both teams doing a good job contesting. Conversely, though, both teams have done a nice job not settling for jumpers and getting the ball into the paint.
It's give-and-go action. Chatfield from Tyson. And, yeah, to your point, all the buckets so far that have gone through have been twos. Teams are combined 0 for 4 from outside the arc. Bairstow. Around, that one a little flat out the palm, and the rebound off the Chatfield.
Nice job of blocking out that time by Seattle.
First Dawson now on the floor for Seattle. This is Tyson off the pump fake. Chatfield offensive board. Tried to reset it, but it gets deflected into the hands of Ashworth. And quickly up the floor, the Aggies come, but Dan Akin gets upended.
Well, I've been impressed with the actions by the bigs right here. A little dribble, handoff, and then roll. And that's something that you'll see with Seattle. They do a lot of dribble, handoff action. And I think the key thing is the screen. If you set a good screen, you always try to talk to young players. The best way to get open is go set a good screen for your teammate. That's excellent half-court offense that time by Seattle.
Meanwhile, Akin lost the handle as he lost his footing. Goes out of bounds. So Seattle U basketball here. Just over 5 minutes in the second quarterfinal matchup. Lob down low, Chatfield able to secure it. Rajkovic goes cross court, under 10 to shoot. Here's Schumacher, gets to the 10. And it looked like Rylan Jones may have turned an ankle. Rylan Jones been dealing with some injury issues here as of late. Began the season as one of the starters in the backcourt. Missed 3 games, though, due to a concussion. Came back in the last game against Weber State. Still coming off the bench, but here you see just kind of turned the ankle there.
Yeah, at first I thought it might have been some condensation on the floor, but that right there looked like he just lost his footing and kind of jammed his foot. Good to see him, though, be able to walk that off.
Z Hamoda on the 24 for Utah State. Nice little nifty dribble by Shoulder. He resets, gets it back, drives the lane. Look at the ball movement here, but 2 seconds to shoot. Finally getting it up down low was Akin, but to no avail. Strong, full possession of defense there by the Red Hawks.
You can't ask for better closeouts by Seattle. That is a textbook execution of closing out and then defensive recovery on that last defensive possession.
We're going to have a foul. It's going to go against Shea Riley, 6'6" junior, originally from Jamaica, making his way to Seattle U via City College of San Francisco. Utah State scoreless over the last almost 2.5 minutes. But Akin changes that in a thunderous way. And we're tied again at 10. 3 ball from straight on by Kobe Williamson, who is fresh in. Doesn't go. Good work by Shea Riley, though, underneath. Be able to get a shot up, and he'll go to the line.
Both teams executing well in the half court right here. Beautiful slip pass. And the help is not there because you have to, again, honor the 3 ball. And that's just pinpoint passing out of the pick and roll.
So here's Riley. Head coach Chris Victor refers to him as our best athlete. 6.5 points per game to go along with 4.5 rebounds. And he hits the free throw, a 54% free throw shooter thus far this season. It was the Coast Conference Co-Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year at City College of San Francisco. Went 60-1 in his 2 seasons there at the JUCO level. Offensive rebound to Williamson. Here's Grigsby. Goes over the left shoulder and a soft touch there by Grigsby.
And that's a great job using his size, again, just to get your defender off balance. And then that's a nice little jump hook. He's got a strong frame, big boy move, and then showing off the touch at the end.
Hamoda slid along the hardwood, and he's going to be called for the traveling violation. He's going to lace him up a little tighter here after that play.
And now I think that is an issue with the floor. We've seen that now multiple times where guys have slid. And certainly the ball boys are going to have to do some work in this one. Obviously, the game before that first game, that Iona SMU game, was a physical, tough game. And obviously, again, it's something we're going to watch as this game progresses.
See the ball movement, sets up a 3 ball by Grigsby, and he misses poorly. Wide right, drew nothing. We are still yet to see a 3 ball go through for either side.
So much for our open, where we talked about both these teams average over 10 threes made per game. But yeah, I've been impressed with the closeouts. Both teams, they're doing a good job of forcing each other off the 3-point line and contested shots.
Open look here from straight on Bairstow, and he banks it in. Why not? If it's not going in the traditional way, might as well use glass, right?
He gave the shrug afterwards, like, hey, You got to call bank right there. But again, that's a wide open look, all set up by a beautiful dribble, drive, and kick. One of the few open looks we've seen thus far early on in this game.
There's Emeka Udeni, 6'6" senior from Oakland, California, left it short side. And that turnaround, also a product of City College of San Francisco. Bounce pass underneath. Acting got blocked on the way up. And it stays here in this direction. Utah State basketball after this media timeout. Well, it took a while for the first three ball to go, and wouldn't you know it, Sean Bairstow calling glass. We're tied at 13. Welcome back. Another gorgeous day outside Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center for first day action of the Hawaiian Airlines Diamond Head Classic. Tied at 13 between Seattle and Utah State. Huck, take us inside the play.
Well, if you're going to play against a really good three-point shooting team, you have to have a good help defense, and then your closeouts must be on point. Right here, big step over, cut off, dribble, drive. Kick out to the three, you help, and then now you have to close out and recover, close out again, close out, you get another help right here. And then I think the key thing at the end of the play, you got to finish it off with the rebound. You can't do it any better right here. Help, recover, that's excellent team defense, something that you're going to have to do against a team like Utah State that shoots the three ball so well.
Meanwhile, Seattle, having seen their first 5 3-point attempts not go through the basket, they've got 12 of their 13 points coming in the paint here so far.
And what do we have, 1 3 in the game so far?
Yes,
so
right.
Much for all the three-point shooting. But again, speaking with both coaches yesterday at practice, look, that's the key when you play against both these teams. They both average over 10 threes made per game. You don't want to give them open looks. And again, we have another player slipping on the floor.
Bairstow, tough shot. It was contested well, and it goes out of bounds.
Remember, there's plenty more games after this one. That's always a concern anytime you have these type of tournaments where you have teams just running in and out for practices and games. The conditions of the floor.
So here's Tyson. 4 so far in this game, working against Hamoda. That's a tough fall away, and it's going to be an over-the-back call against Kobe Williamson. Kobe Williamson, who, we got to be honest, we're going to nominate him for having what's got to be the best hair in this tournament, at least so far.
He's in the discussion. I put him top 5 right now. We got some more basketball to play, but I would say, yeah, he's definitely top 5. But back to that previous play, nice block out by Bairstow. That time, something we don't talk about a lot, the lost art of blocking out. That was a good time that time, the last possession.
Ashworth unable to hit. That was his first shot attempt. He gets it back out near the logo. Still 10 to shoot. Ashworth hands it off. Hamoda down the lane, gets challenged, but gets the friendly bounce, and he winds up on his wallet once again, but he gets the deuce, and Utah State up a deuce. And that one almost went out of the palm of Alex Schumacher. Seattle scoreless now for almost 3 minutes. It's been an odd pace. Hard to really pinpoint a rhythm to this game, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it really is. Again, we came into this one thinking we're going to see a lot of threes made. That has not been the case. We've seen some good execution in terms of defensively closeouts. But the mid-range, I think that's what it's going to come down to. You can see the strategies for both teams. They're going to run each other off the three-point line. It's going to come down to the bigs rolling off of those pin downs or ball screens, and then who's going to have the better mid-range game, because it looks like right now nobody's going to give up any open look from beyond the arc.
32nd all-time meeting between Seattle U and Utah State. Aggies holding the 17-14 edge throughout history. We're tied at 15, so a competitive game. Even if it hasn't necessarily been the style that we were anticipating through the first 10 minutes. You see the way these two teams share similar philosophies of moving the basketball. And that is a nice one-on-one move by Akin, but it got popped out on him.
I like that, though, offense by Utah State. I think that's a matchup they should continue to go to. He just needs to finish it. That's a pretty good look from point blank.
Schumacher can't hit. Tyson will try. That one doesn't go. Offensive rebound, Rajkovic. Has the size advantage down low, but it gets batted away by Funk. Ahead to Hamoda. Layup is good. And the Aggies getting up the floor in a hurry after that block shot by Taylor Funk.
I really love how Hamoda runs the floor. That time off the block, and then he is out in transition really fast up and down the court off the miss.
Here's Schumacher. Harassing defense and the takeaway by Ashworth. Hamoda. Here's Rylan Jones. And Funk left open. Unable to make the defense pay. Redhawks. They're in the market to buy a hoop here. No field goals in over 4 minutes. Still without a field goal after the miss by Chatfield. Funk tried to draw the contact, no whistle. Things running a little ragged here the last few trips up and down.
And I think that's a good no call by the ref. Again, it looked like Funk was trying to initiate the contact on that. Good defense, staying down and not getting a foul on that one. Both teams really getting after it defensively.
Another poke away by Jones, and now the whistle at midcourt. Schumacher takes the foul against Ashworth.
Well, I think we need to change our strategy. I think it's going to be defense that leads to offense right here. Hamoda out into transition off of the block. I've been impressed, though, with his rim runs. That time off the turnover. He does a nice job filling the lanes. And excellent job by Ashworth to get it out to him early.
And how about that finish by Akin? Wanted the whistle. Again, no call. Keith Kimball, Chris Bieber, Todd Uppo, the officiating trio here for this quarterfinal matchup. Seattle still looking for its first field goal in over now 5 minutes. Grigsby, that one sails long on him. Offensive board, Rajkovic.
And Rajkovic's done a nice job where he's gotten a couple of offensive rebounds. Some guys try to force it right back up. He's thrown it back out, knows he got some clock.
Grigsby again from the corner. That one goes off the heel. Rebound to Shulga. There's Stowe. Too strong with it. Body's hitting the floor. No calls. Grigsby going to try to do it himself. Can't get the layup to go. The drought continues. Ashworth for three. Got it. One of the top three-point shooters in all the land. Serves up a splash from straight on for Utah State. A 7-0 run for the Aggies. Meanwhile, Seattle with a scoring drought of over 3 minutes and a field goal drought of over 5.
The College Football Playoff semifinals and the College Football Playoff National Championship on ESPN.
Closing in on the crowning of a national champion in college football. Meanwhile, we have 2 more bowl games for you tomorrow on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the app. At 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, the Ragin' Cajuns take on quarterback Clayton Tune and Houston in the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl. Then, this one could come down to which quarterback plays better. Sam Hartman in Wake Forest squaring off against Brady Cook and Missouri in the Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. You gotta love this time of year, Huck. You got some high leverage football. You got some college basketball. The NBA's kicking into gear. Meanwhile, what hasn't kicked into gear for Seattle U, the three-point shooting. 10.4 made threes per game. That's top 10 in Division I. You see the attempts. They're 0 for 10 so far in this one.
And a lot of credit goes to Utah State. They've done a nice job contesting, and then off of those misses, they've gotten out in transitions, whether it's off of misses or turnovers. That's something that has to change for Seattle. They'll do a better job balancing the floor off of those misses.
Over 3 minutes without a point are the Red Hawks. Over 6 minutes without a field goal, but all that gets wiped away after Cameron Tyson drills it, the 6'3" redshirt junior from Bethel, Washington. And that one rattles home right back at you, Stephen Ashworth.
And this is more like what we thought we were going to see coming into this game. Both teams executing at a high level and then knocking down some threes from beyond the arc.
Three-ball Rajkovic. Well, that make by Tyson didn't quite open the floodgates. At least not yet. Three-ball from the corner. That's Funk, and that's a miss. Rajkovic. And again, no call. Good defense as Akin, according to the officials, maintained verticality. That one gets deflected out of bounds. 5:43 left to play in the first half.
And this right here, a nice dribble drive by Verstappen. Again, you cannot leave your contain that time. That's somebody else's help. If you leave him on the three-point line, he's going to make you pay. That's excellent offense, all set up by good spacing by Utah State.
And a whistle there on the drive by Schulga. You look at Seattle U, we talked about 1 for 12 from distance, but they're shooting 28% here so far from the floor overall in this half. How much is that the Utah State defense? How much is that just Seattle not making shots?
I think a couple of them have been some pretty good looks. I think a lot of it, though, has been contested shots, and shot selection obviously a key in this one. And you can see again the strategy of Utah State. They're not going to give Seattle anything open on the three-point line.
Good defensive pressure by Shea Riley. Knocked it loose, dove on the floor for the loose basketball. And then the foul will go against the Aggies, Stephen Ashworth. Second foul for Ashworth. Utah State now with 14 fouls compared to 6 for Seattle U. Field goal percentages differing significantly to this point. So just 7-point differential though. And here's Tyson. Got stripped. What a play by Jones.
Great activity that time by Jones to strip that ball away. That's just a great individual defensive effort.
Funk. Barstow reset. Left corner, quick trigger three. Schulga knocks it down.
Well, we saw them drill that exact play. A little dribble drive, if you help at all. They're kicking to the wing. That's excellent offensive execution by Utah State.
They officially ruled out a 2-point shot there for Schulga. He's got 4 points. Dawson, scoop shot, no. But a foul. Will go against Utah State. That's going to be on Sean Bairstow. So 15 foul for Utah State. That means Seattle will be inbounding from the baseline. Rigsby going to be initiating the action here. And that one got partially blocked by Akin. Well, the length of Utah State bothering Seattle on several occasions here in this first half. Jones for three. That's off the mark. Akin chases it down, and another crack at it here for the Aggies.
I've been impressed with Akin. His activity on both sides, defensive and offensive glass early on in this game, paying dividends for Utah State.
And then draws the whistle right on cue. Dan Akin finding his spots here in this opening half for Utah State. The Aggies by 9. It's good to be back here in beautiful Honolulu, Hawaii for another edition of the Hawaiian Airlines Diamond Head Classic. Well, 13th edition of the Hawaiian Airlines Diamond Head Classic, and the trip out to the islands can be such a beneficial experience for many of these programs and players who haven't made it out to Hawaii before, and several teams taking advantage of the opportunity to visit Pearl Harbor National Memorial and to read up on and experience some very significant history that took place there. And Utah State did just that here earlier this week, and not the only team that has taken advantage of the opportunity here in the islands to not just experience the culture, but also tap into some of that aforementioned history.
And I think it's always great when you go on these trips and you can do a little bit of education for these young men, and certainly nice to see them taking that. I plan on going with my family on Saturday to Pearl Harbor. It'll be a first for me, and again, something that all these programs take advantage of when they're out here on this beautiful island.
And Akin at the free throw line. The last foul, by the way, was called against Cam Tyson, and that's his third foul. So that's a significant number there for Seattle U, and head coach Chris Victor are going to have to monitor the situation of their top scorer, Cam Tyson.
Anytime you lose that much production, and certainly his three-point shooting ability, that's going to change your strategy. Let's see if they can hold forward. Mark this down right here, 3:28 to go. They're down by 11 with their best player on the bench, Seattle.
Right now, a big story of this game has just been the ice-cold conditions at the Seattle offensive end of the floor. Under 26% shooting overall, 1 for 12 from outside the arc. And as you mentioned, now their top scorer going to be sitting on the bench for some time. Where does the offense come from?
Well, I think it's going to have to be by committee. I like them continuing, though, put the ball in this guy's hands right here and let him use his size, get into the paint, and then get a higher percentage shot.
Well, it was as if they were listening to you. The shot wasn't there, though. And Utah State coming the other way.
That's a pretty good look for Grigsby. That's one, though, that he's got to put down. Again, you got 2 feet in the paint.
Oh, nice cut. And the crush by Sean Bairstow. And it's been all Aggies here in this first half. Under 3 minutes to play. The drive by Shulga. And Bairstow knows what to do with it. Welcome back. 31-18. Utah State has opened it up here over Seattle. A 9-0 run. Meanwhile, the Red Hawks have made just one of their last 16 field goals. Utah State hasn't been its usual self, at least from outside the three-point line. 3 of 11. Their defense has more than accomplished what it has set out to do. Shea Riley trying to stay with it. The shot not there. Paris Dawson will get the Red Hawks another stab at it. Here's Schumacher, averaging just under 11 points per game. Wanted some contact to be whistled by the officials. The officials have kind of let them play. It's been a fairly physical first half.
And I think similar to the first game we called, the Iona-SMU game, in that first half, Iona seemed like the more energetic team, and that's what's happening right here. Utah State, to me, seems like they're the team with this a little bit extra, in particular on the defensive side. Their energy seems like they're a little bit more than what Seattle has right now.
And Riley Grigsby coming over, and that foul seemed a little bit more obvious. So 10th team foul for Seattle, going to shoot 2 is Max Shulga. Reaching about 12.5 points per game. Also averages 5 assists per game. Just very active. Has taken a huge jump from last year as well, when he averaged just 4 points per. He hails from Ukraine. He's really been embraced by that Aggies fan base over there in Logan, Utah. And he extends the run here for Utah State to 11 straight points. The lead is 15. Shea Riley goes right to the bucket. Up, in, and one. Trying to ignite something here for Seattle U.
And sometimes you just got to simplify your offense. Get somebody isolated on that post area right there, and then just play bully ball. That's all that is right there. I'm just going to go right at you, put my shoulder down, and see if you can match my strength. Again, that's just simple offense right there. Utah State is not helping off the shooters. Let your matchup that you want, let them go to work. I go right back to that next time down if I'm Seattle.
Unable to complete the three-point play, though, with Shea Riley. That foul was on Bairstow, his second. Shulga. That goes right through the hands of Akin. Just the 4th turnover for Utah State in this first half, but giving it right back are the Red Hawks. This is R.J. Idle-Rock who was cut into the basket, but couldn't complete the play. It goes out of bounds and belongs to Seattle U. Idle-Rock, who, like Dan Akin, hails from London, England. In fact, they played high school basketball together. Both played at UMBC before teaming up at Utah State as well. The missed 3 by Grigsby, and the whistle underneath is going to go against Utah State.
Well, Seattle's still not able to get going from the three-point line, and some of them contested that one a deep 3, but credit Utah State again. They forced them in to some really difficult shots from the perimeter.
So 1-on-1 bonus opportunity here for Riley. And he knocks that one down. He's now 2 for 4 from the line. He has 4 points. Well, if Seattle U is going to turn things around, aside from perhaps hitting a few more buckets from distance, what else do you think they have to do?
Well, I think the biggest thing is match the energy of Utah State, and then they're going to have to stop and cut down some of these dribble drives. Utah State guards and wings have been in the lane. Well, they got to do a good job of cutting down the dribble drives.
Open 3 for Jones, and that one was perfect.
Well, that's really a breakdown by Seattle. There's no need for them to help. Right there, you got, they have him stuck. You help off of a guy that doesn't need help and leave a wide open shooter.
Meanwhile, that's a beautiful take by Emeka Udeni. He's put in some good work here in this opening half. That's his first bucket, but also a couple of assists. About a 1-second differential between the clocks, so Utah State can play this down pretty well. But Idle-Rock says, forget that, I'm going to shoot it from the corner. And now an opportunity for Seattle here to hold it for the last bucket. Schumacher for 3. That's off the mark. Last touched out of bounds by the Aggies, so still 1.5 to see if the Red Hawks can get a shot up. Seattle U now 1 for 14 from the land of 3.
Big possession right here for Seattle. See if they can get any positive momentum going into the half.
Great fake by Schumacher, but he misses from point-blank range. And a microcosm of what this first half experience was like for the Red Hawks. Missing from outside, and then even missing some of those easy ones from up close.
Missed opportunity right here. Just a breakdown defensively. by Utah State, and that's just a miss right there. I mean, that's not a pressure shot right there. That's just a missed layup, but that's the way it's gone for Seattle in the first half.
Well, Utah State closes the first half on a 14-6 run. Seattle U makes just 3 of their last 24 field goal attempts to end the half. 36-24. Utah State on top. We'll send it to the studio after the break.